Oh, construction champions, it's your host, Ron Nussbaum, and we're here for another amazing episode of Construction Champions Podcast, where, as always, we are burning the house down just so we can rebuild it. That's what becoming a construction champion is all about, and you can catch us twice a week from YouTube to wherever you listen to podcasts. And we know you don't tune in for Ron Nussbaum, you tune in because of our amazing guests. And today is no difference. Different. See, if I can get the words out, we will have a fantastic podcast. Vance, it is great to have you here with us today.
I appreciate it, sir. And the crowd goes wild.
That's what we try to do. Step up to the plate and hit a grand slam every time. So I'm super excited to have you on the show today. But before we dive into it, why don't you tell all the champions out there a little bit about yourself?
Sure thing. So, my primary goal is to have companies stand out from the competition and not compete on price. That is my mission 100% because too many of us are just getting beat up on price and we are not charging our value. And I learned that first and foremost when I was with Disney. I spent a decade working for the Disney company. And trust me, they are not shy about pricing. I often say they are masters at extracting money from your wallet and leaving you feel happy about it. And, I've carried that through my entire career. A few things that I might have in common with some of the construction folks. I own 3 home service businesses here in Maryland. I have a mold remediation company, a Oriental rug washing facility, and I guess what you would call a traditional carpet cleaning company. And I took all of my Disney knowledge, all of my Disney marketing, all of my Disney customer experience, and plowed it into those 3 businesses, creating systems along the way. Now I've got a GM that runs those businesses. I don't have to touch it. I cash the checks. I kiss the babies. That's about it. But which gives me all the time to do the coaching and consulting that I absolutely love doing. And again, trying to show people how to stand out from the competition and not compete on price. So that's me.
Awesome. I love it. And we shouldn't be competing on price. I'm a
We shouldn't.
firm believer in that. So I think this is going to be a great conversation. Let's dive right in there. And I'm going to ask you the $1,000,000 question. And that is, what makes a construction champion?
Ever found yourself revisiting a project because of a small miscommunication? It's frustrating and costly. That's why I switched to BuilderComms. Their construction communication management solution cuts through the noise, ensuring my team is always on the same page. Now, missteps are rare and rework is a thing of the past. Ready to streamline your projects? Check out BuilderComms today.
Construction champion. You mean from the construction company point of view or from my point of view?
From whatever point of view you want to answer it from. I'm
All
very
right. No, that's cool. I just
flexible
want to
when
make
it
sure I got
comes
it
to
right.
that.
A construction company, and there are champions out there, really needs to set the stage with how they're going to take care of the customer because they get such a bad rap often. And I think one of the things that makes a champion is a excruciating attention to detail. Quick example. I had my roof redone. We remodeled our houses from 1896, so we got a new roof. They were all nice in the meeting, but they had lousy attention to detail. And I would go so far as to say borderline just malpractice in roofing. They said, oh, we'll go through your yard with a big magnet and pick up all the nails. Yeah, they didn't do that. And the thing that really kind of ticked me off was the whole parade of roofers going behind my shed, which there was no reason to go behind the shed because nobody delivered a porta potty for them to use while they were working. So attention to detail, not just in the construction, but in the how you're taking care of the customer. What are you putting in place that is really saying, you know what, we are going to leave this house a lot better off than we found it. And that doesn't include chucking things off the roof and gouging my new deck.
Mm. I absolutely agree. And it's something that it all sounds fantastic on the front end, but it's how do you execute on the back end? What do the SOPs look like? And how do you get there to deliver this experience? Doing construction work, we are very invasive on people's houses, and we have to understand that is that we are a huge inconvenience. Even though they're our customer and they're paying us to do a project, we are disrupting their life, and that adds undue stress to the situation that they don't know about. And typically it's probably one of the first or second projects they've ever had done. So there is no clear expectations other than what you say to your customer.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, construction, especially renovations where you're coming in and disrupting the household. I've got a couple of kitchen and bath remodelers as my clients, and we've encouraged them to do everything they can while they're there to A, minimize the impact, but B, go above and beyond and really take care of your customer. So one guy, and of course, this is all built into the price. But one guy buys dinner for his customer once a week. Just here's a gift card to the local restaurant. Go on down and get carry out or go dine in. We know your kitchen's a disaster. We're working as hard as we can and as fast as we can. But here, please go have dinner on us. And just those kinds of things. And I think the communication, the updates and all of the things that you would take for granted, just they disappear sometimes in the hubbub of operations.
Yeah, because it can be not necessarily an afterthought, but it's just something that falls through the lines. I work solely in communication these days. When I was in construction, running a construction business, it was the absolute elephant in the room. Is everybody thought they were doing it good. We all pretty much suck. And the customer says we suck at it. So it's like bridging that gap. So then, like, I came out with software to help that. We now offer a la carte services to help with communication management for construction companies. Because it's something that it is so hard to control because we get so busy. And it's like, how do we take care of it?
Well, first and foremost, and we talked about it, at the beginning, was systemizing it, making sure you've got the SOPs in place, and as owners or managers, making sure the SOPs are being enforced. I mean, no sense in having them if nobody's going to enforce them, right? But if we have, whether it be the system that you've created, or even just a general, hey, you know what, at the end of every work day, we're going to go find Mrs. Smith and we're going to say, here's what we did today, here's what we're doing tomorrow. We cleaned everything up, and oh, by the way, your cabinets are 9 months on back order. And I don't know where they would drop the 9 months on back order thing in there and not have things explode on them, but even if it's just as simple as a daily check-in with the customer and not like sneaking out the back door and jumping in your truck and driving away.
Which, to me, like that makes the bar so low, but like that makes such the difference. We used to make it a requirement that all foremen could not leave the project that day without having a conversation with the homeowner, either face to face or on the phone if they weren't there, to give them that up to, just because it doesn't matter if anything changed or if there was major changes. What matters is that homeowner feels like you're keeping them in the loop, and it's not that hard. It's just being able to have that SOP, like it and then just doing it.
Well, and so many people think that having standards or SOPs or OGTs or whatever acronym you want to use is limiting, and it's not. It gives freedom to the owner, and it gives a certain amount of freedom to the people that are doing the SOPs, because they know they're not being compared to, Billy Bob or some other guy on another site. they're being compared to the standards. And if you are consistently enforcing those standards, it just becomes a way of life. And for those that want to exit their business in the next 5 or 10 years, having systems in place, having standards like that is a 1 to 2x multiple increase in the value of your business just by having those standards in place.
Yeah, and SOPs, people get all whatever about them. Like, no, we're going to talk about SOPs. This is going to be super boring. It's not going to be anything that I'm interested in doing. But it's not. It's as simple as just taking what you do and writing it down and saying, this is how we're going to do it. Like how we decided that the foreman were going to have those conversations every day is because I used to run a crew. And what I noticed was if I didn't talk to the customer the night before, every morning they would jam me up. They would have a million questions. They would have all of this stuff they were wanting to talk about. And I'm trying to get my guys going for the day. And if I'm in there doing that, they're, hey, what's the crew do? They're out smoking and joking, having a good time. And I was like, how do I solve this as being a foreman? And I was like, I'm just going to start talking to them the night before and try to eliminate all of this because the guys are already on task. Like they're already doing stuff. And then as I moved through leadership, is we just made that standard. Like this is how we do it here.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, and it becomes part of the culture of the company. And people will quickly find out or figure out if they are a good fit culturally for the company. And I mean, it sounds a little, some people talk about, oh, culture, woo woo, and all that. Well, that's not it. I mean, if you have a culture of exactness, of details, of, here's what you're going to do, and you don't like that, well, go find Bob and Tom with their hammer jockeys and see what see what happens.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right on point. So you're in the thick of it. You're seeing this stuff all the time. What are some of these areas where guys are just blatantly dropping the ball when it comes to that customer experience?
I mean, starting at the beginning, how do you deliver a proposal? I got a number of clients that, deliver 5 and 6 figure proposals. I say, okay, well, how do you deliver that? Email. I'm like, you delivered a 6 figure, proposal by email? You couldn't spring $9 for a FedEx? I mean, show that this has, yes, will the email work? Of course. But a FedEx is guaranteed to be opened. A FedEx says that you are taking this position, this job seriously, and I take my work seriously, and it separates. I mean, who sends FedEx these days? Not too many people. So if you want to stand out, send your proposal by FedEx. I mean, first and foremost, answer the phone. I mean, really. I mean, it's that basic. Answer the phone. I mean, you're paying Google to have your phone number listed. You might as well answer it. Otherwise, it's just money flushed down the toilet. So I'm a partner in a call center, and we did some market research. We called 4,000 home service businesses. 17% answered the phone live. Everybody else was voicemail. Now, and we scrape these numbers from Google Ads. So all of these businesses are paying to have their phone number advertised. This is money going down the toilet. You want to separate yourself from everybody else? Answer the phone.
Why do you think that is? Like 17%, like I know this is a problem. And guys have their personal cell phone numbers as their main numbers, and they're out on job sites answering the phone, or it's just going to voicemail. And like that is where your customers are coming in from. They're just going to move on to the next one. Like, what's the chances of
100%.
them actually leaving a voicemail? Because they're just going to assume if this guy can't answer the phone to get me as a customer, is he going to answer the phone afterwards?
Right. Yeah, 100%. And the crazy thing is that, they expect us to leave a voicemail and then they'll get back to it at their convenience. Well, that's not the convenience of the customer. Customer wants it, well, right now. That's when we're calling. And that leads me to, the whole not competing on price, because if you are charging an appropriate price, well, you should be able to answer the phone live or have somebody doing it or have a call at a minimum, a call center answering the phone. But yeah, if you're not charging enough to even have the bare basics of not even an experience, but just a basic customer service, it's time to seriously look at that.
Yeah, no, so let's get into charging what we should be charging and not competing on price. Like everything that you've talked about up until now is why guys compete on price, is they're not doing that kind of stuff. And that's what puts them in a competition where the customer's solely choosing on price because everything across the table appears to be equal to them.
And it's not. Sure. A nail is a nail, a hammer is a hammer. Got it. Great. No argument there. But what about warranties? What about guarantees? What about on time? All of these things, they have a cost to them, but they also have a value to the customer. Some guys are like, oh, I'm not going to warranty my work, or I'm not going to guarantee. Okay, so don't guarantee the work. How about you guarantee that you'll answer the phone? How about you guarantee that your guys will clean up at the end of every shift so that, if they have to walk into their bathroom or kitchen or whatever's being remodeled, they don't have to worry about stepping on a nail. Those are all the things that help you not compete on price. The way your guys behave, and I shouldn't say guys and gals, behave on the work site. Are they polite? Do they, not smoke in the backyard? All of these things contribute to the overall experience. And I don't mind paying extra. And actually, studies have shown, actually, I hate that. Studies have shown people pay more for an experience. If they know that they can get a better customer experience by paying a little more, they will do it. It's just like why people go to Disney. If you go to, let's say you go to your local county fair, and they truck in all those decrepit rides, and half the fun is wondering whether you're going to live through the night, and they've got ex-cons and current cons that are running the rides, and it's $20 for all you can ride. Not a lot of expectation there, and there is a level of danger, so to speak. We hope that none of your listeners are that kind of construction company, right? The $20 all you can ride. What we want are people in the Disney realm of construction. Disney, on the other hand, charges 9 times that amount, $180, for the experience of going on a Disney vacation and creating memories. Now, are their rides 9 times better than the county fair? It's arguable. If you took the story away from It's a Small World and you just got on that boat and you kind of just drifted through that canal, well, it sucks. But you're going there for all the things that Disney offers. It's clean, it's safe, that the attention to detail is just going to blow your socks off. Everything is going to be of the highest quality. And so you go and you spend that money. And I seriously think that, I do this in my carpet cleaning business. We are 40% higher than my closest competitor. 40%. We don't compete on price. We don't even give price out over the phone. Somebody calls up and says, hey, how much is it going to cost me to clean my living room? I don't know. We need to come out there. Would be more than happy to do a thorough inspection for you. And they're like, I just want to know how much. I'm like, sometimes when they press, it's like, would you ever call the doctor and say, how much does it cost to fix my broken arm? Doctor's going to laugh at you and say, no, get out of here. You got to come in and I got to see you. So, I mean, there's all sorts of ways to separate yourself from the competition. And I mean, I'm living proof that you can charge high prices in a highly commoditized business like carpet cleaning, um, and do very well.
Well, I completely agree. And I think people really underestimate what that brand reputation you have is. Because like you build that and you're either becoming the Disney or you're becoming the overnight fair in your neighborhood. And every day you're doing something to move you in one direction or the other with your reputation. And the better your reputation is, the better your pricing can be, and people aren't going to flinch at that.
Yeah, and they don't flinch at it. I mean, if everything was a competition on price, right? There would be no high-end sports cars. Everybody would be driving a Yugo. It's got four wheels, an engine, and it goes forwards and backwards. Well, I mean, the $100,000 Mercedes, four wheels, engine, goes forwards and backwards. What's the difference, right? It gets you from point A to point B, but it's all in the experience of owning a Mercedes or a BMW or Maserati or whatever your choice is. Are there cheaper options? Sure. Are they going to be as good of an experience? Certainly not.
Yeah, and people don't know what they don't want until you offer them it. I mean, that's what the Escalade example is one of the best, where Cadillac was just like, we're going to make $100,000 Tahoe and offer it up and see if people want it. Well, no one knew before the Escalade came out. No one knew they wanted $100,000 Tahoe. They would have laughed. And now, I mean, they're up into the 200,000s, depending on what options you get, because you don't know what people truly want until you put it in front of them and see if they say yes or no.
Well, this also all comes down to your marketing too, is who are you marketing to? Are you marketing to an affluent customer, or are you, no offense to Section 8 folks, but are you marketing to single wide trailer owners? There's a vast difference. The single wide trailer owners, yes, they are price conscious. They shop on price. Affluent, no, they shop on experience. They shop on value. What are you going to deliver for the price we agree upon? And a lot of it, I hear sometimes my guys, not my guys, my clients and my coaching group will complain about some of their customers. Oh, they're cheap, they're this, they're that. I ask him point blank, well, who went out and got those customers? Right? If you don't want cheap customers, don't go get them.
That is so true. That is so true.
But it's a different way of looking at things. I mean, if you want to be in Valpak and the coupon clipper thing, fine. That's the business can be had that way. You're probably not going to grow. You're probably going to be working a lot. Speaking of that, so with higher prices, you don't have to work as much. Like in my carpet biz, my guys do 3 jobs a day, max. Sometimes they only do 2, and it takes them all day to do both jobs. Whereas my competitors are doing 7 to 8 jobs a day to get the same level of revenue, which is more wear and tear on vehicles, more wear and tear on employees and equipment and all that stuff. Who's more profitable at the end of the day? You can do less work and be more profitable. Why wouldn't everybody want to be doing that?
Well, I absolutely agree with that, because that's one of the that's how we structured a lot of our stuff, was like, we want to hit this volume every day. What does that look like to make that happen? What does our pricing have to be at that this makes sense for the crews that are going to be out there, that they're not going to be working 18-hour days for us to hit what we need to hit, because then it just all becomes a mathematical equation, like,
Right.
when you're putting it all together. And having an understanding on that is, people don't have to work as much, because you just backtrack it to, this is what we need to do to make the profit we need to make for this business to continue to sustain and grow. Price accordingly.
Yeah, and thing is, as your employees will be happier for it, and your employee recruitment will be easier. I mean, right now, I mean, I've got one, two, three. I got three guys. One guy's been with me just over 10 years. I mean, he's been there 12 years. And two guys are approaching year number 5. In the carpet cleaning world, that's like 19 lifetimes. Nobody stays in a carpet cleaning business to clean carpet for more than 6 months or a year. It just doesn't happen. But because they're working decent hours, they're getting paid a decent, I mean, significantly decent wage because we are charging more. It becomes a great work environment as well. And so now not only are you taking care of the customer experience, you're also taking care of the employee experience. Because if your employees aren't having a good experience, there's no way in hell they're going to deliver one to your customers. It just can't happen.
Absolutely, man. You're right on point. I love your thought process around this. It's obvious because you've spent the time out there doing it and being around it. So for all the construction champions listening, if they wanted to follow you, learn more about what you do, connect with you, where's the best places for them to do that?
Yeah, sure. Best place really is my website, deliverservicenow.com. It's deliverservicenow.com. There's some free resources on there. You can actually get a copy of my book. Don't send Bezos any more money. Don't go to Amazon for my book. Just go to my website. You can download a free copy. And if you want a real book, I just ask you to pay for shipping. I'll send you the book. So, yeah, Bezos doesn't need another yacht or anything like that. So.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for taking the time and being on the show today.
My pleasure. I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, construction champions, another episode in the bag where once again we talked about pricing. What exactly are you doing? But my biggest takeaway is when Vance was talking about Disney and what they've done to be able to build this story around it. And then you have these little parks that roll into your town. And the marketing that's went behind those is all word of mouth. Same thing with what Disney creates. And that's what you're creating with your business is this experience, this story that, see, the experience you deliver to your homeowners is the story they're going to tell their friends and family. And what business do you want? Do you want a story like Disney being told? Or do you want the park that showed up over the weekend that might have had a malfunction on a ride story being told about your business? Because when those stories are told, it leads the perception of what happens at your business, what it's like to do a project with you. If you don't want to compete on pricing, you want that story to be the Disney story. You don't just want it to be, man, they showed up, we had a couple problems, got the job done. I wasn't 100% satisfied, but you know what? They were a lot cheaper than the other company. You want that story to be like, I was blown away, to where when they're telling that story, the price isn't even a subject to conversation because there was so much of the experience that based that entire story that it had absolutely nothing to do with that price. So when their friends and family pick up the phone and call you, they're looking for that experience. They're not looking for a price. So construction champions, make sure you go out and check out all Vance's stuff. Check out his book, free, just pay shipping. Don't go on Amazon. And make sure you check out all of our fantastic sponsors. Until next time, be the champion you were meant to be.
Hey everyone! Wondering why you need builder comms for your next construction project? Here are 3 solid reasons. First, it keeps your team and clients seamlessly connected in real time. No more delays or communication mishaps. Second, all your critical documents are organized and just a click away. Lastly, accessibility to project photos is immediate and secure. So get builder comms now and experience stress-free project management like never before. Get yours now and simplify your construction projects.